It's quiet. Too quiet.
You're disrupting the quietness. Why do you have to do that?
I have no idea.
We're having a peaceful evening over here. Just trying to talk Big 12 football. God, kill me. What is going on, everyone? Welcome into the Voice of College Football. It's College Football After the Dark show right here on Sunday night, as always. So good to see everyone here in the chat. I mean, I already got a super chat. That's amazing. We'll touch that in a second because that's a very that's a topic we got to touch upon.
We're only 146 days away until week 0, 151 days till week 1, and 153 days until Alabama's starting off 2025 and Oregon's starting off 2025.
That's disgusting. Shut up.
Wait until you see how many days it is till North Carolina plays TCU.
God, don't start with this. Anyway, it's just me, Ben, of Exploring with Ben and Sam, right here on YouTube or here on Twitter. You can find me there, Exploring with Ben. And Jackson, where can people find you if they want to stalk you as usual?
Well, they could stalk me on Jackson VOCFB on /Twitter and on Jackson Johnson 543-908 on Instagram and Threads. And they can stalk me at Jackson Johnson 979, where I've just reached 500 subs, got past that threshold, and now the next milestone is 1,000 subs. And of course, there's Crimson Tide Live, tomorrow night's edition, where Coach Birch, Jeffrey, and I discuss our take on how it's been an Elite Eight heartbreak and how 8A is on the horizon, although it's a little smaller than usual, but still, though, we got some good days ahead of us, especially like Jeremy Pruitt being a complete and total idiot. Like he's going to win the $100 million. He couldn't even cheat properly. So there you go. We'll be talking more about that tomorrow on tomorrow's edition of Crimson Tide Live. Ben, where can people find you, or where can they stalk you online?
Oh, exactly that. Just right on YouTube, Exploring with Ben and Sam. On Twitter, Exploring with Ben. You can find me on Instagram too. I don't do anything over there. You can find me on the Oregon show with Spaz, who should be here, but he's being lazy as usual, so he's not here tonight. But
he may be watching those Trailblazers.
Maybe that is a strong possibility. I do want to shout out here quickly then before we get into some of the stuff. Tuki was here. Evening to you. I see Karen over here. Hello.
Tuki G's becoming a voice of college football legend over here.
There we go.
First,
we need some new legends. Jason, of course, football. You're football.
Oh, and, yeah.
Troy, I put you on timeout. That's where Troy belongs, in timeout.
Well, Matt Ritson has a little something for us.
Exactly. That's why I was like, yeah, we got to touch upon this. I'm glad he brought it up because I actually kind of spaced on a little bit of some of the news stories. Before we touch on that, Jackson, do you really quickly, you have some business you want to get into?
Absolutely. You know, we've got the Voice of College Football YouTube memberships right here for you. For $2.99 a month, you can become an all-conference member, where you'll get a loyalty badge next to your name in the comments of the live chat, and you get the customized any emoji you want to use in the comments of live chat, and you get a member shout-out, and you'll get member-only polls. Let me tell you something. You'll love it. It's an exclusive club. You want to talk about really exclusive clubs? For $4.99 a month, you can become an All-American member, where you can get a VIP hangout session with Mark Rogers, the man himself. And you get priority replies to comments. And for $9.99 a month, you can become a Heisman member. And you can give out content requests of any kind, and neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow, nor pollen, nor ragweeds, or bad weather, or bad plays of any kind will put a stop to the Voice of College Football from fulfilling your content request. And you get to be on College Football After Dark with Ben and Friends Sunday nights right here on the Voice of College Football. I'm going to tell you, my friends, you'll love being a part of After Dark. Matter of fact, that's how some of the current hosts on The Voice College Football got their start. They got to start here on After Dark, and then they've gone on to bigger, better things. You too can be that next host at The Voice College Football. That I can personally guarantee. For $19.99 a month, you can become a Hall of Fame member where you'll get discounted merch from the Voice of College Football. And $99.99 a month, you can get VIP access to all of the top experts' picks. You can get top-notch picks from College Wire, USC at the Voice College Football, Trojans Wire himself, Matt Zimick, from Wager Talk, Steve Merrill giving out his under-the-radar pick of the week during the college football season, the host of the Michigan podcast, and the host of the Steve Deace Show on Blaze TV, Steve Deace. And finally, you get the man himself giving out his top picks, Mark Rogers, right here on Voice of College Football Bets. And of course, there's disputed national champions. The Easter Beagle and the Easter Bunny are teaming up to get top-notch copies for you from Mark Rogers himself. And you'll learn about what happened during the 90s, how the decade changed sport, why the championship results should be questioned, how to correctly think through the scenarios, and appreciate the accomplishments of teams that are not recognized as champions. This book provides an in-depth analysis of the changes, controversies, and outcomes that defined the decade of college football. It challenges readers to explore and critically evaluate the decisions that shaped the national championship landscape. Unlock the mysteries of college football's most debated decade. Grab your copy now. 420's coming before you know it. That's one of the few Easters that you will have top-notch candy on 420.
It's true. And Tookie took offense. Becoming a legend. What?
Well, you are. I mean, you're commenting first on the last several shows. You're becoming a legend, man. Keep doing that. You're really going to be a legend.
It doesn't take much, especially in the off season. You can build a rapport and a reputation really fast. I think let's get right into Matt Ritson here. Obviously, super chats are highly appreciated, and we appreciate this. And this is a fascinating topic to talk about and how this came about. So I think most people have heard it now. Stanford has decided to part ways with Troy Taylor. This was his third season. This last season was his third, I think. Am I mistaken?
Yep. Troy Taylor was in his last. You know what was funny, though, Ben? The firing happened while I was filming a Jacksonian episode with Ruby Dreher Finley, the Ole Miss Live co-host for Ole Miss at the Voice College Football and the production coordinator of College Game Day. And, we were like giving our take on this. We're just like I'm getting the notification on my phone and I'm like, Andrew Luck decided we got to fire Troy Taylor. I mean, you got like two female staffers saying that you were like being mean to them and acted like a butthole. So, I mean, that's a bad move right there. I mean, it's like, and I think part of the matter is like they weren't really winning that much. Like our buddy Austin was saying that, well, I thought that Louisville win would have helped Troy Taylor. It's like, nah, they were giving them the vote of confidence for 2025. They expect the seasons to be more like the Jim Harbaugh era or the David Shaw era. They're certainly not getting back to the 1934 season where they were going to the Rose Bowl, the same year where Donald Duck first appeared in cartoons.
There's a lot to unpack here because you're talking about Stanford, Yeah, they had the Jim Harbaugh days. They had the early success with David Shaw when he took over, but they still had Andrew Luck. But even then, they had Christian McCaffrey and they had the Rose Bowl win and, all those times. But Stanford is one of those schools where the best description was that I heard kind of like other schools look at their athletic department and go, football runs this. Stanford looks at their athletic department and just goes, football's part of it. Football doesn't run it. They run off like Olympics and stuff like that. So you don't have to be like a 10-win team every year technically to be a successful coach for Stanford. What I've heard is Troy Taylor was kind of a dick to work with sometimes. That's just his character, his attitude. But also, Stanford has such policies, because of their university, the standards, et cetera, that maybe that kind of made him kind of be a dick because he didn't want to have to deal with it at the same time, like,
Oh yeah.
kind of in fairness to him also, like, but this was not the first time. This was the second report. They already did one investigation last year and he signed it saying if this happened again, basically he'd get fired. They started the second investigation, but you're right. General manager Andrew Luck pulled the trigger and was like, metaphorically, and you're out. Now, I don't know if that was actually Andrew Luck's decision or if he just got to tell them. I don't know. We don't know that for sure, but interesting, because that's a whole different discussion of like how powerful is a general manager at a university, or is Stanford in a special place because it's Andrew Luck?
Jim R, do not blame Andrew Luck for that early retirement. I mean, his health was in a bad spot. Don't blame him. Blame that drunk fool Jim Irsay. Like, I mean, because like Irsay, when he makes decisions, he looks like he's 5 minutes away from passing out drunk before making decisions. I mean, like, he's a grown ass man making important decisions while drunk or high or snorting something they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, and
like that guy should not be an NFL owner, and I'm glad he's not anywhere near the Titans.
Look, and Andrew Luck, in all fairness, he was out like quite a lot with his injuries, and he tried to come back, and finally was just like, you know what, I'm out. Like, because he said he wasn't having fun anymore. Basically, like, it was taking such a toll on him because of the injuries that he just literally had to walk away. And I was like, I can respect that more than someone kind of trying to half-ass it.
Oh, yeah.
Just for a paycheck. He was like, I'm good, cool, and walk away from it.
Oh, yeah.
So, oh, God. Matt, you and your super chats.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. I don't even know if I want to get into that story. I don't even know if I want to touch that at all.
Man, Clint Moses says Andrew Luck's the OG Cam Rising. An NFL equivalent, but
it is an interesting topic that was discussed though about like the power of GMs. Now again, this is Andrew Luck, alum, Stanford, going to be Hall of Famer at Stanford, obviously, and what would you, most people would agree, if he had played 15, 20 years in the NFL, which he probably could have, but he decided, well, he potentially could have been a Hall of Famer quarterback in the NFL. So I don't know if it's just because it's him or what, but Troy Taylor's out. He gone. But now Stanford's in a very weird situation with a very late firing.
Well, it feels kind of similar to Illinois in 2016 when they fired Bill Cubitt in the month of March. Like, there was no scandal going on. They just didn't feel like he was the right fit. And that was when like Josh Whitman was recently brought in at that time as the athletic director. And he decided, you know what? We got to get people paying attention to Illinois football.
That's when they brought in Lovie
Smith.
Lovie Smith. I want to say Lovie Brown. Lovie Smith. Thank you.
Lovie Smith. Come on, man.
Brown. Jeez.
Yeah, Lovie Smith. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and when the Lovie Smith era didn't work out, it was like, you know what? I was wrong there. I'm firing his butt. I'm bringing in Brett Bielema. I'm telling you, I think Andrew Luck is going to knock it out of the ballpark. I think whoever he gets, he's going to knock it out of the ballpark. I think he'll be fine.
But that's the interesting question, because it's late in the season right now. Even going after like up and coming OCs from any level is kind of a difficult pull this late.
There's Pat Hamilton. I mean, he did.
Well, that too. But there was also the talk of a certain position coach on the Detroit Lions if they want to run it back with David Shaw. I just said, why wouldn't you just interim? I don't know if he wants it. Just interim Andrew Luck for a year and see what he does. I don't know if he wants that type of job.
Nah.
Give him the interim tag. Let him be the coach. Shit.
I'd say go get Ken Niumatalolo from San Jose State.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a fantastic job with Navy. I mean, it was like when we think of like Navy beating Notre Dame, he was there. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't impressive to some people, but still, though, Navy beating Notre Dame, that's not something you see every day or every year for that matter. Like, they always gave Notre Dame a game under Ken Niumatalolo. And guess who he's on the staff under for 07? Paul Johnson. That was the year when Navy ended that losing streak, that 43-game losing streak that Notre Dame from 1964 to 2006.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can see it. I can see it. I mean, it's not a bad grab.
Yeah.
Stanford's a unique place to coach. The other one, of course, is Jeff Monken.
That's a good one.
Very high level. He knows about discipline and needing to find specific types of people to work in your program. I don't know if he would leave Army though. I mean, he's pretty comfy at Army, you know.
Yeah.
Like, why would you leave Army to go Stanford? No offense to Stanford, but
not taken. I was like,
yeah, Stanford has pockets, but they just got to put out the money, though. That's the kind of thing. At least they weren't SMU and taking no pay. They're taking what is it, like half pay in the rights in the media deal or something like that, like half.
Yeah,
something like that.
Well, I'll tell you, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Steven Lasson from Athlon Sports thinks that we could see Dave Clawson get a shot, or Tavita Pritchard get a shot. I mean, Pritchard did play at Stanford, and he's done a tremendous job as the QB's coach for the Commanders this season. I almost said Redskins for a moment.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. They've got to move fast. Let's put it that way. They don't have like a ton of time, because if you're gonna keep whoever takes this job, potentially this whole next year is gonna be a shit show, because they're gonna lose the entire potential transfer class, because they actually had a decent transfer class under Troy Taylor this season. And recruiting was not terrible for Stanford, like for where they are. But so you got to hold it together. Damn it, Clint. We don't have that many Big 12 people around here. That's probably why.
But no worries. There's some Big 12 people coming in for the Voice College Football. Relax.
Yeah, it's like we don't have any right now. Like just readily available.
Well, you're gonna be very happy with the amount of teams you're gonna be seeing having some shows. Let me tell you right now, you're gonna be very happy. I can guarantee it.
Well, speaking of what Clint just said, was there any other news? I felt like there was another story. I'm not touching the Weiss thing. Not even touching that one. That seems like a red flag all around. Not even going to touch it.
Well, we got a schedule preview to do.
That's right. That's why I was like, is there any other news we're missing here? Jeez. You people are terrible.
At least it's not like some of the Florida State channels where it's just like, where some of them are just like all their videos is we're gonna leave the ACC, we're gonna leave you, we're gonna leave you. Like, shut up! Either you leave the ACC or you're staying. We're sick of that crap.
Everyone's there for at least 5-6 more years.
I know, right?
Now, with the distribution,
it's like, oh my god! It's like,
that's about the only other news too. Is really quickly, because no one knows exactly how this is going to impact anything or affect or how it's going to work, and everyone says they don't know. April 7th, the ruling of the oh crap, what is it? The
Well, Karen, how long have you been a Colorado fan? Let me ask you.
what's the April 7th? The it's the ruling of the money distribution, right? The
yes.
not the right term, but you know what I'm talking about. Comes out,
Mhm.
but no one knows how this is going to go exactly.
That'll be interesting.
Jim, we're trying to find our diamond in the rough during this offseason schedule preview. The grantor rights. Thank you, Troy. Grantor rights. Yeah. Was it grantor rights? No, not grantor rights. Not grantor rights. It's the damn it. I brought it up and I don't even remember. April.
Well, I love Jake.
2025 federal ruling.
Oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun with Alabama, Florida State, but I won't be too mean to Florida State. I act pretty mean to them. No worries, but just cares way too much about Florida State. I know. That's funny, man. That's funny. It's like one of those Dean Martin roasts.
Yeah, this is and Troy's like, what do I know about the ACC? It's not about the ACC. This is about like NIL stuff where every team shares all the money. It comes out April 7th, apparently. That's the ruling date. So no one knows how it's going to work exactly, but yeah, we'll see. Money distribution or whatever the hell it is. College football these days. You have to know all these legal things now. Anyways. Austin, don't start. We haven't gotten to the ACC yet. Calm down over there.
But I will say you are going to be happy with who's going to be coming to do Florida State Live real soon. Anywho.
Yeah, let's get into this. And I don't know where to start. And we already have multiple things.
Well, we could start with BYU.
Well, I was going to say we start here because
nice.
Matt just dropped it, another super chat, and yeah, Prime got a nice 5-year extent. I believe it was a 5-year, 50 million, 55, something like that. He said it had 55 million up in the top, but it was like 5-year extension. So good job for Dion. So why not just start with Colorado, because they are one of the interesting teams this season coming up, because a lot of changes on that team, obviously.
Yikes. A lot.
It's an interesting one. I'm very curious to see what Dion is going to do with this team, because obviously you lose Shador, you lose the Heisman winner, whatever you think if he should have won it or not, but you lose Travis Hunter, and they brought these rosters.
Only 152 days until Colorado, Georgia Tech. That's gonna be fun.
My God, these rosters are so outdated. It still shows Shador on this roster. It's a terrible roster. What are people doing over here? I give up. It's like they left it on last year's stats and statistics and everything. Terrible. They brought in Liberty's quarterback, Caden Salter. Most people think he could be the guy in the system, but will he win the job? It's kind of the question mark with Colorado.
You got the schedule, man?
I Well, you have it right down here. I think you have it in the backstage, right?
Yeah, let's pull it up.
Yeah, that's fine. We can pull that up. I had the generic kind of conference layout, but it's kind of grainy as hell to look at. So, I mean, game 1. Hey, that's not a gimme game.
Nope.
For them at all. That's Georgia Tech. And we haven't gone to ACC, but Georgia Tech is not a joke team. They showed this last year. They can hang with anyone. Oh. I like number 2. I like game 2.
Ooh.
Might have found our gems. Mark it down, everyone. The Blue Hens. The Blue Hens. Never heard
that's
of them.
gonna be so cool, Sean.
I've never heard of the Blue Hens before. That might be our magic team. What would the
Well,
Blue
I remember
Hens?
hearing about them on a Pontiac game-changing performance video on a college football final in 2007 when they were in the FCS.
Let me look up there. What was our record last year? Let me see. Delaware Fighting Blue Hens football. They are Division 1 in the FCS. They're in the CAA, the Coastal Athletic Association. What was their record last year?
Oh, well, they're the home of Joe Flacco, but sometimes I call him Joe Wacko.
Was he from with the Blue Hens though?
Yeah, he played at Delaware.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I'd never heard Blue Hens. I know of Delaware. I knew Joe Flacco was there, so I thought this was something different.
I just call him FCS Michigan sometimes.
Oh, that's why I was like, I know Delaware. I just didn't know they were the Blue Hens. Yeah, that's why. Oh God, yeah, they were.
Colorado Houston looks good.
They're not good.
Well, when Friday nights look boring, that just means one thing: somebody could get upset, or we can see a really good game.
Yeah, Houston. Last year I'm not surprised Houston was kind of hit and miss. Willie Fritzl in his now like second year. See what he will do with Houston.
Yeah.
Wyoming though could be interesting.
Oh, holy crap, Karen! That's awesome. You got tickets to Colorado, Iowa State. Nice.
That is nice, actually.
I know, right? So nice. It's so much fun.
Wyoming could be interesting. Wyoming's always one of those teams you never know what you're going to get. It's kind of early in the season, though, but Wyoming has to go to Colorado, so.
There you go. Karen, you'll definitely love what Levi Stevenson brings out on Tuesday nights on Cyclones Live on the Voice of College Football for the Iowa State channel. Dude's a freaking magician on Iowa State athletics. And of course,
is it?
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was gonna just what is it?
There you go. Pit Snipe Husker, you're gonna love. Are you subscribed to Iowa State at the Voice College Football and checking it out, Pit Snipe Husker? Because if you're not, you're missing out on amazing Cyclone content from Levi Stevenson. Like, dude's a magician. Like, he's out doing Wide Night, Natty Ike, and doing Iowa State, the Voice College Football. Like, bro's a freaking Iowa State magician. I mean, and there's Big 12 at the Voice College Football for more takes on the Big 12. You can check out Clint Foster on the Biggest 12, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time from Clint Foster and friends as he brings out the Big 12 magic. But cover BYU.
Whew, that's
the Alamo Bowl rematch. That's like the underrated game for September 27th. because like everybody's going to be talking about Alabama, Georgia, or Penn State, Oregon, or Ole Miss, LSU.
That was good. That one's going to be brutal because BYU is bringing back quite a few of their guys, and I mean they just destroyed Colorado last year in the bowl game. Even with Shador and Hunter, they just destroyed them.
Oh man!
But will this be the same BYU team also? Kalani Sitake last year was a very quiet season, like in the sense of being 10 wins.
Yeah,
very quiet 10-win season. So,
but they did get upset by Kansas.
That's what kind of derailed their system, their season, basically. Really.
Yeah, but BYU is going to be tremendous. And what's something I always say, Ben, when people are getting too low on their teams?
Yeah. No. BYU should have good expectations this season. I'm going to say that they should have pretty good optimism, because I mean, the Big 12 itself last year, what was it? It was like a 4 or 5 way tie, with 2 weeks left for the title game.
Yeah.
It was like Jesus.
Well, Colorado's got to go to Utah. I mean, Rice Eccles staying. I mean, I get it. Utah was sloppy in 2024 because of the injury to Cam Rising, and but still, Utah's dangerous at home.
And their guy stepped down. Oh God, their OC. Names are escaping my mind right now because he almost went to Penn State a few years ago.
And he almost went to Notre Dame.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, and it was Notre Dame. Sorry, not Penn State, Notre Dame. Names are escaping me tonight. It's terrible.
Andy Ludwig.
Thank you.
And they're going to have a new offensive coordinator and Jason Beck. I'm curious to see what magic he's going to create for Salt Lake City. I mean, he was the OC that was making magic for New Mexico in Bronco Mendenhall's only season there.
Yeah, well, and is this Kyle Whittingham's final year?
That's going to be the question.
That'd be the end of an era if it is. But it's kind of his call to make.
Yeah. West Virginia looks pretty good on November 8th.
Could be. That could be very good.
Ooh.
It depends on if Rich Rod has it going, but it's later in the season, so Rich Rod might have it going.
Game day, please go there instead of Alabama LSU.
They're going to Alabama.
I know they will. It's like that's got me all like, oh.
Unless Colorado and West Virginia are like both like undefeated or something like that, something crazy like that.
Well, Pat McAfee's donating a lot of money to West Virginia.
No, Whittingham will never leave. Whittingham will never leave BYU because he's the coach of Utah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. But that state, though, is like Colorado, Kansas State on rivalry week. It's like, what the hell is with the Big 12 and rivalry week? I mean, it's like, we don't want to lose to the SU Big 10. Well, you're not going to lose if you put your top rivalry games on Black Friday.
I don't know. That's not a nice. I mean, at least they have the bye there. Their byes fall pretty nice. They go through the hard stretch the first, and they have a bye, 3-game bye, and then they have to take Arizona State and Kansas State. And I think we could both agree that Kansas State and Arizona State are probably the top two of the top 3 to 4 contenders in the Big 12 going into the season.
True that. Kansas State, they're always having a say in somebody's backyard, the Big 12.
Well, Kansas State is at least a consistent team, This is I mean, shit, if we want to, just roll it to Kansas State if we want to. since
Let's
we're
do
talking
this.
on them.
Let's do this, bitch.
Because Kansas State, this is oh God,
146 days until the Ireland kickoff of Farmageddon.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yep, that is right.
That's right.
146 days, and I forgot to mention. Yeah. Oh no, I did mention 152 days until Colorado Georgia Tech, but there is another Big 12 team that is playing on Friday, August 29th, which we will get to in a little bit.
This is Chris Kleiman's is his 5th year, 6th year,
2019, 2020, 2021,
6th year then, right?
2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. 7 years.
So this is 7th year. Okay.
Correct.
And,
Mondo.
and again, he just won the Big 12 just a couple of years ago after beating TCU in that
Somebody is going to
thrilling game.
Somebody's going to snatch his ass up from Manhattan, Kansas.
I don't know. Kleiman seems like just the perfect guy for K-State, though. Kind of like a Bill Snyder, where it's like he just fits there. You know,
they're like the Iowa of the Big 12, where it's just like based off of coaching stability, where it's like nobody can really name any other coach besides Bill Snyder or Chris Kleiman. And same with Iowa, where it's like nobody can name the last guy that coached before Hayden Fry.
That's fair. That's why I say he just seems like the perfect fit, or like he can just be there as long as he wants, as long as he's generally consistent.
Yeah, but But yeah, the Iowa State Kansas State battle in Ireland, I couldn't believe it when I heard it last year. Well, yeah, I mean, people. I don't think Ron Prince is remembered fondly. I mean, the one good thing he did do was have Kansas State beat Texas in back-to-back years in 2006, 2007. Yeah, what's up, Godfather, the SEC? How are you doing tonight, good buddy?
Yeah, outside of like you were just saying, outside of Snyder and Kleiman, it's like, man, no one really, unless you're a Big 12, Big 8, whatever, or a Kansas State fan, you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember that stuff.
No,
unless you're like just this again diehard. Fan.
I was getting my hair cut on November 30th, 2008, at 11 years old when I saw the headline of Bill Snyder coming back to Kansas State.
To resurrect it again.
When they were showing on SportsCenter on like a breaking news segment.
Yeah, to resurrect the program once again.
Oh, we're doing fantastic, Godfather of the ACC. We are doing fantastic, man. We appreciate you tuning in on tonight's edition of After Dark on the Voice College Football as we go over the rest of Kansas State's schedule. And Kansas State, Arizona counts as a non-conference game again this season. This will not count in the conference standings.
This is so weird. It's with the ACC doing it. It's just so weird. Army, the Army game actually seems like it could be very, very fascinating.
Yeah, Army's a track game for those Power 4 opponents.
Well, those are two teams that are pretty, for the most part, pretty similar in the way that they like to attack you. Kansas State's that hard nose. We're Midwest, we're going to run this way. And Army's like, well, we're just going to run it at you. But Army does throw more. But it depends on Avery. If Avery Johnson can have a better season this year. Last year was a little, I guess, disappointing as to what the expectations were.
Yeah.
Not terrible, but a little underwhelming. I guess I'll put it that way.
Well, and I'm curious to see where Central Florida is going to be in the second stint of the Scott Frost era. Can Scott Frost get him? I don't know, give him another natty, as they would call it.
It's interesting because the Big 12 has two programs that they rolled it back. They ran it back with the old coaches,
Yep.
West Virginia and UCF. Interesting. The only thing for UCF, he hired Alice Grinch as DC.
Good
Scott
grief.
Frost. Why? Why would
I
you
know,
do that?
right? It's insane.
And watch, they have like the number one defense in the country or something. It'll be like, oh, maybe it was just Lincoln Riley. It actually wasn't Alex Grinch. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. At Baylor, that'll be a challenge. Baylor should be pretty consistent again this year, I would think. I mean, Dave Aranda, he's had a couple up and down years, but for the most part, they've been a pretty steady team. But what is TCU this year?
They're not where they were in 2022, that's for sure.
Oh God, no. Duggar's not there. But can Sonny Dykes, like get that thing going? Because I mean, they got rid of Gary Patterson to get Sonny Dykes. He paid off year one. Last year, not good.
Oh man. Ben, you should have heard the conversation I had about Texas Tech with Joey Foster, our friend at the Voice College Football. He believes in Joey McGuire at Texas Tech. I'm just like, I feel like McGuire's a little overhyped, but that's just me.
It's an interesting thought looking at Texas Tech because of the money they have invested this year, specifically with the transfer portal. And Joey McGuire has been on the verge of winning some of these games they shouldn't, but now they're like really investing. So I see why they're kind of a hot pick. I see why. I get it, but until they show it, I think that's kind of the thing. Like, great, it's March. I get some of the hype. Let's see the results, though. Because if you can't show the results, the hype means nothing.
I feel like Texas Tech is basically a basketball program at this point because it's like it's getting to like you ask somebody that's 18 years old or 17, 16 about Mike Leach, they're going to be thinking about Mississippi State or Washington State, perhaps. They're not going to be thinking about Texas Tech. Like there's going to come a time where it's like some people tend to forget about Texas Tech football with Mike Leach. And had it not been for Mike Leach for Texas Tech, I feel like Texas Tech would be one of those forgotten teams that you see in realignment.
That is possible. I will say one of the greatest lines of Mike Leach came at Texas Tech. And it's like, you're just sitting around thinking about your fat girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of his catchphrase that everyone remembered came from Washington State. That was when he just like went off the walls with his media stuff. Yeah, Utah and Colorado will be final. Is that their final ones?
Well,
yeah.
Kansas, I mean, the last time Kansas State lost to Kansas was in 2008. Ever since then, Kansas State has been on a 16-game winning streak, including last season where Kansas almost defeated the Kansas State Wildcats.
Kansas was bizarre last year. They were just hot or cold last year. I had high expectations for Kansas last year. They just decided not to play half a season, basically.
Yeah. Oklahoma State. What were they?
Oh God. I was going to skip Oklahoma State in this entire
Mike Gundy is on my shit list.
That's why I was going to skip them completely. I'm like, Oklahoma State.
I mean, like, I'm still kind of pissed that Mike Gundy doesn't want Oklahoma State playing Oklahoma, but only when he does. It's you can play us in spring game. Like
that doesn't make any sense to me because if everyone's concerned about injuries or this or that, I get the hype about it, but I'm like, playing a rivalry game in spring doesn't seem like the best idea. That just doesn't seem like a good idea. Because I thought that same too. With Clinton here, I was like, hey, Oregon could play Oregon State. But guess what? It's a rivalry game, so it can get heated. It's like, why would you want that in the spring if you're worried about like injuries and stuff? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, Mike Gundy. Screw it. Let's go to Oklahoma State. Let's get their win.
They don't pay me, Pitt. Like it's like Oklahoma can and they will, but I'm going to tell you right now. I think Oklahoma and Oklahoma State they need to just they need to just be forced to be in a room together until they say we will play each other annually. But that's no time for no day. Enough here inventing from me. But Kansas State, Utah, that's a great game.
Yeah, I think that could definitely have. It just depends on Utah. I trust Kansas State will be pretty solid. Utah is just kind of the question mark. But it's at Rice Eccles, so late in the season, Utah should have it together. Or we'll find out. Oklahoma, yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Mike Gundy will get fired. I think it's like they restructure his contract. He'll have to basically walk away.
Well, he can come on over to Oklahoma State, the voice of college football, then. Or be a co-host with Cody Stovall. Well, no. Cody Stovall's got nothing nice to say about Mike Gundy. So,
No.
But at the same time, it's like, I want to see him in the room, Cody Stovall. Like, Cody Stovall's like, you got it now, sucker.
He's going to be one of those guys that stays at the university, in like a administrative type of role. Basically,
you're not fired, you're promoted.
Something lateral move. You're just not a coach anymore, kind of thing. Like that. That's a Mike Gundy thing. I don't think they'll fire him, but then who knows?
Or maybe he could create a podcast, like call it "I'm a Man, I'm 40."
Maybe he'll be the GM.
But I mean, Kansas State, Utah, that's going to be a good one. That'll be a good one right there. Especially for all Big 12 fanatics. I mean, I know that's on my to-do list.
All right. Well, thinking of Utah, since we don't have they won't have Cam Rising back for the 10th season.
Or we could get the
Kansas. Kansas is a good one. Kansas is a good one.
Yay! We got Kansas, Fresno, Stale, Wheat 0, and we got Kansas, Missouri.
We're going to Seahawks. Oh my God.
Man. Oh my God. Yeah, we don't care about Wagner. But the Kansas Missouri rivalry is back. Oh man, I am cueing the Peanuts music for that one. It's like, what can I say? I'm a sucker for all rivalries. So, but before we do that, if you love top-notch Missouri content, come on in and subscribe to Missouri at the Voice of College Football, where Zach Remulus is hosting another exciting edition of Missouri Live on Missouri at the Voice of College Football tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Anyway, no.
That would be funny, though.
Man.
That would be funny. I mean,
agreed. It'd be humongously hilarious.
Who's doing a home and home? Someone's doing a home and home with, like, Temple.
Oklahoma?
Is it Oklahoma with Temple? The home and home is like so weird.
But yeah, like Kansas, they've got a lot to do this season. I mean that Missouri game, that's going to be a teller of where all things are going to be heading for 2025. And
this is a year Leipold's got to do something. I mean, Leipold's one of those guys, just like Kleiman. He's good for Kansas. Like he's just Kansas has had
Lance Leipold, yeah.
Kansas had such
trashy,
shitty luck with coaches.
I know, right?
It's just there's no other way to put it.
Makes you want to cry.
Yeah, so they finally got a guy that seems like he's just a good fit, and he likes where he is. And he's taken them to a success they haven't seen in a long, long time. So, I mean, it's just they can't do what they did last year, where they just again, it's like they just decided not to play half the year. It's just awful.
Well, we're going to see where the Rich Rod era begins, because I mean, like last year's edition of Kansas, West Virginia. My God. That was fun.
Yeah, again, the Rich Rod thing is going to be very, very interesting to see how that works out. I mean, it can't be worse than Neil Brown. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, Rich Rod's gonna do tremendous work.
Yeah, it's like it definitely can't be worse. So I mean, but with Kansas, I mean, the expectations should be. What is the Kansas expectations? Are you thinking 7, 8 wins, or are you like having the expectations of at least
I don't
challenging?
think they really care about getting a Big 12 title. I think they're just happy they're even competing.
That's what I mean. Like at least you're like challenging. You're a top like 4 teams, maybe 4 teams in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Like at least a few weeks out, you're like right in the competition and running for it, basically.
Oh yeah. I mean, Lee Paul's doing a pretty good job over there, and I'll be honest, I'm curious to see that Kansas Iowa State game. That looks pretty good. I want to see if Kansas will end the losing streak to Kansas State. That's gonna be a good one right there.
Well, if they can do that, I mean, that itself is an accomplishment.
Ugh,
I think the big thing for them is depending on how the season plays out, how all the teams work out. I think for Kansas, as long as they just don't have any of those dumb losses, like don't lose to teams that you're not supposed to lose to. Like
there we go.
I mean, there are certain teams where you're massive underdogs and they're just a lot better. If you're competitive and you lose the game still, it's like, okay, well, guess what? That happens. Just don't have that one where it's like you lose to, Weber State or whatever, at home or something,
Yeah.
Wagner or whatever, whatever they were. Don't
Can't-
lose if you lose to them, it's going to be like, yikes,
Yep. Yeats is right.
It was a yikes.
Kansas, Utah, on Black Friday. I gotta be honest, like Kansas, Utah, on Black Friday. I feel like the schedule makers at the Big 12 are real lazy. They're lazy as hell.
Again, why is Utah BYU not on?
I know, right?
Why is that not annually set every year for the last game of the year? Why?
Stupid.
You get the Holy War back. Why don't you permanently slot that?
That's wrong.
In your own conference for that.
That's so wrong. That's not there. But but would you like to see where BYU Utah will be played? October 18th, apparently.
October 18th. Okay.
God.
Right in the middle of the season. Okay.
It's disastrous. I hate it.
Oh, God. Utah goes to Wyoming. Yikes.
They got to go UCLA, which they don't have a home field advantage.
Old Pac-12 game.
Like UCLA, I believe, I think like the UCLA Auburn home and home got canceled in favor of that. Or I think like Utah, somebody.
Yeah, someone canceled something. I can't.
No, it was UCLA Georgia. UCLA canceled home.
Oh
and home.
yeah. The home and home with Georgia. That was what it was.
Out of those Bulldogs.
Yeah,
like,
that was what it was.
Oh man,
I knew someone canceled something with UCLA. Yeah, I couldn't remember who it was.
Georgia. Yeah. But it's like I don't think Georgia canceled. I think it was more like UCLA.
I think it was UCLA when they did the when they moved to the Big Ten with the scheduling differences or something.
UCLA is a bunch of chickens.
Someone had to get out of it. Well, they did do the home and home with LSU though. So,
well, they did beat LSU in 2021, so that was cool. But LSU smacked them off the face of the earth last year.
It was like 14. It was like 17 and a half.
Yeah.
Then they didn't score a point in the second half. But yeah, regardless of that.
But yeah, Utah at West Virginia for week 5. Oh, week 5 is looking like a loaded day already.
Yeah, let me. I've got my other thing. We don't have to. I'm gonna look at it. Week 5 is the 20th, right? September 20th,
27th.
27th. Oh God, I
Mhm.
can't read. September
Alabama,
27th.
Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Oregon,
Oh,
LSU,
okay.
Ole Miss,
I'm
Illinois,
just
USC.
looking at the Big 12 itself. On September 27th, for instance, you have Arizona at Iowa State, Arizona State, TCU, Baylor, Oklahoma State, BYU, Colorado, one of those big ones. BYU, Colorado again. UCF, K-State, Cincinnati, Kansas, Colorado, BYU, which we already said. Houston. Oh, September 7th. Houston at Oregon State.
God.
Houston at Oregon State.
Oh
And
my
one that just sticks out because it was like,
Oregon
oh, okay.
State. Jesus.
And Texas Tech is off. Yeah, Utah, West Virginia. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
That's bad.
That one just stood out because I was like, I didn't even know that until I saw the schedule. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, in Cincinnati, I don't know what to say about them. I don't really have anything nice to say. But
Cincinnati is. I don't expect much from them at all.
they're hell. They are a stinking pile of dung heap under Scott Satterfield.
Satterfield is
He's mediocre.
If it's well, I was gonna say if it's not better this year, I don't know if he gets fired, but next year he's definitely one step closer to getting fired. Let's put it that way.
He out.
Yeah. If it's worse this year, I think he'll be out. But if it's the same or a little bit better, he's still going to be under pressure the following year.
God.
It's not going great. I mean, obviously they're transitioning into the Big 12, but it's not good. It's not pretty.
Well, they're never contending for a Big 12 title under Scott Satterfield. That's just not going to happen. But Kansas, Utah should be interesting.
Oh yeah. The Big 12 the Big 12 in general is just one of the I mean, last year it turned out to be one of the funnest leagues to watch in the sense of like you just never knew what was going to happen. And I think this year it's going to be kind of the same. I don't think it's going to be like that. You have one team that's just running away with it. You're going to have this 4 or 5 way scenario with all these teams. Unless Texas Tech surprises everyone. But hey, you can't count out your worst to first and defending Big 12 champions, the Fighting Dilly Dillies of the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Oh, yeah. For that, we'll get to BYU.
There you go.
After that is the Dilly Dilly.
Oh, poor Stanford.
Oh, this is
poor Stanford. If BYU loses to Stanford, just fold in, just close up the season. Just.
We're gonna have BYU Iowa State the week after the Holy War.
Ooh, at East Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That is a trap game.
I was like, I mean, they come off a bye week though, so it shouldn't be. But at East Carolina, that's interesting. Could be, anyways. I don't know what East Carolina will be this year either. So,
oh God. Man,
just got dilly dillies everywhere now.
Dilly dilly. Oh man, but we got Texas Tech, which I mean, yeah,
it is at Texas, but they're coming off a bye again, so that's in favor. So they're at Iowa State bye week, at Texas Tech. So that's kind of in favor. That week is November 8th. Let me see. BYU.
Was BYU's last season a fluke? I think no. It's a fluke. What wasn't a fluke? No.
That one actually favors BYU a lot because the week before that, Texas Tech plays at Kansas State. before BYU. So that actually favors BYU. That could still be a good one though. Lubbock, that stadium will steal your dreams sometimes. Oh, Jackson's already yawning.
BYU TCU. I mean, that November slate is so mid. So mid.
Well, the worst one is Texas Tech.
God.
TCU again. We don't know.
Terrible.
Cincinnati, don't have high hopes. UCF will be interesting, but it's at home. But we don't know what UCF will look like at all.
I mean, Central Florida, like, good grief. We're gonna wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. I don't know what to expect from them or West Virginia in regards to how quickly they can turn a roster and implement their system. Scott Frost has won at UCF before, but can he do it again? Like Rich Rod.
Yeah.
Can they do it again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what kind of season BYU's going to have in 2025.
Yeah. It's the Big 12 is very fascinating because, again, I just don't know what to expect. Like Oklahoma State. No one has, I don't think anyone has. I mean, what is the expectation for Oklahoma State this year? A bowl game?
9-3.
I mean, well, you can't go winless in the Big 12.
Oregon's going to smash Oklahoma State, and I'm going to be there laughing. I'm going to be laughing.
I wasn't even talking about that game because when we scheduled this years ago, obviously Oklahoma State was much better. But they have to go to Oregon. So, yeah, Oregon should absolutely smoke Oklahoma State without.
Oh, they'll smoke them the way you smoke those vapes, man.
What vape? I don't have a vape. What are you talking about?
Oh, man. Well, it looks like a cigarette or a vape, but it's one of them.
I don't have a vape. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's gonna be the way. Like it's gonna be like, or that's gonna be how right there. That's how Oregon beats Oklahoma State right there. That's what it's gonna be like within the snap of a finger.
Gundy needs to do something. I just don't.
He sucks now, unfortunately.
I mean, he did change over the whole staff though, so we'll see. We'll see. But the second game on the road at Oregon is not going to be easy.
True. Well, we covered BYU, we covered Colorado, we covered Kansas State, Kansas, Utah. 5 teams and 11 teams to go, and the next team is Arizona State, which makes it 10 teams to go. You choose the next team, chat. The defending Big 12 champs. I almost called them Pac-12 for a moment.
Right. They haven't won the Pac-12 in a long time.
No, not since 1996, but they did share the Pac-12, well, Pac-10 in 2007. And it's funny, though, they played USC on Thanksgiving night on November 22nd, 2007, but John David Booty was back, and he was helping USC carve up a mud hole on Arizona State. You know it's a Pete Carroll team when they're carving up mud holes on Pac-10 teams.
Don't we all, Jason? Don't we all? We all miss
that. Same, man. Like it's just not the same. I mean, I know like there's still the Pac-12, but it's not like the OG Pac-12. But that non-con schedule.
Yeah, at Mississippi State.
That is a trash heap.
Yeah, Mississippi State. I don't expect much from Mississippi State still this year either. And we haven't even talked the SEC. But, I mean, Arizona State did struggle mightily last year at Texas State when they played. But that was before they kind of pulled it all together.
Oh, man, you bring in, if you want to trash talk Mississippi State on After Dark, you should bring the Ole Miss host on here, man.
Well, no, I'm just saying Mississippi State has problems, but
they'll do the work for you, man.
But last year, Arizona State really struggled at Texas State, but that was before they really came together kind of and like figured it out. But again, Arizona State doesn't have Scatteroo, but they do have Levitt back. So they do have the quarterback. That's important, but I mean the expectations for Arizona State should be pretty high this season, and for good reason. I mean, for good reason. Year one in the Big 12, worst to first, and make the playoff.
Yeah,
and almost take out Texas. So expectations should be high.
Well, I mean, Ken is doing pretty good at Texas State. I mean, he's the Texas State, the defending first responder bowl champion. Maybe they can do a little something more than that. I mean, last season that was pretty close, I believe. Arizona State almost lost to Texas State. I mean, people were trashing Arizona State for that. But the thing was, the people that were doing that obviously didn't do their research on Texas State prior to the game. But Texas State, that is a troublesome game. And on the bright side, it is not a Thursday night football game like it was last season for Arizona State.
It's true. And it's at home now. So,
man,
big advantage for them. Their schedule is not bad. They don't have to play Iowa State or Kansas State. Oh no, they do play Iowa State. I apologize.
Well, at least the schedule makers got something right. I mean, they put the Territorial Cup on Black Friday.
Yeah, they got that one. They got that one finally, but
who does
Utah BYU?
Like, we need to figure out whoever makes the schedules and whatever they like. We need to get them a gift. Just be like, if you do this, we'll give you this. If you put BYU Utah on rivalry week, and you keep Arizona State on rivalry week.
That must have been the territorial to get the Territorial Cup like that. That must have been some sort of we'll join the Big 12 if we keep the schedule or something like that. They must have locked that into the initial deal.
Well, they've been buddies together since way before they were in the WAC. When they both left the WAC together to the Pac-8 to make it the Pac-10 in 1978.
Yeah, it must have, but it was in the initial. We'll come over, but we have to keep this. Whereas Utah BYU didn't.
Well, actually, Utah BYU is one of the 4 protected rivalries. Kansas State Iowa State is not a protected rivalry in the Big 12. But Arizona State, Colorado looks pretty good. Yes, that was the play. Yeah, 2010 was the plan for Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and Colorado to join the Pac-10. And 2011 was they're going to try again to get Texas, Oklahoma State, and they were going to get Texas Tech. But once again, the Pac pissed that away.
Well, as I understood, and I've heard, I mean, there's probably multiple things. One of the big downfalls of that was the Pac-12 still pissed it away. It was the Longhorn Network.
Yep.
Which has stood in the way of multiple things for multiple things. Of course, the Pac was like, well, we have our own thing. Well, you can't have it. And then it just fell apart from there. So, yeah, that would have been very interesting. But
what's funny looking back at the Longhorn Network? One of the games that Texas lost in 2013 was that smackdown by Ole Miss, and it was on the Longhorn Network.
Nothing better than get beat down in your own TV network.
I should have brought that up to my guest Tuesday afternoon, just being like, oh, well, do you remember watching, or were you able to watch Ole Miss smackdown Texas in 2013 on the Longhorn Network? I should next time I get some Ole Miss guests, or we get some Ole Miss guests, I'm gonna be like, were you able to watch Ole Miss smackdown Texas in 2013? That's so funny. That is so funny.
That was Mac Brown's last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But they did beat Oklahoma.
Sure. I was like, that was Mac Brown's last year, yeah.
Oregon smacked him on the face of the earth in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, not a great way for Mac Brown to go out, but
Nope, but we got off the rails. Anyway, Arizona State, Colorado, good game. Iowa State, scary as hell. Scary as hell.
Yeah, I mean, at least you do that, and then you get a bye week. But their schedule in that is not too bad. They get to avoid Kansas State. I mean,
millions.
Yeah, I'm sure it lost quite a bit of money.
A lot. But Texas ain't happy. Ain't nobody happy. But oh man, you ready to get to Brandon's second year at Arizona?
Oh God, Brennan, please, you need to do something this year because, God, what a drop off.
Woof.
Yeah, what a drop off. Going to Jed Fish's final season where it was like almost unstoppable, and then you keep some of your key players and just crash and burn.
Jesus.
I mean, it's not like statistically, like they didn't necessarily have like still good years like McMillan and stuff like that, but God, it was awful.
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
I mean, if I was an Arizona fan, I would have been highly disappointed because I would have had still reasonable expectations, maybe not super high because obviously losing a coach and your staff, but you keep the players and everything. You expect good things still. But then to watch what you saw on the field last year,
God, terrible, terrible,
terrible.
BYU coming to your backyard. Terrible. But you know what's funny though? Like Oklahoma State, Utah, and Arizona were expected to be in the top 3 of the Big 12 last year.
Well, they were all some of the worst.
Yeah.
It was like complete flip flop. The worst to first, Arizona State, and the top almost to the bottom for everyone.
Arizona State shows everybody who's boss. Iowa State shows everybody who's boss. BYU, Colorado show everybody who's boss. Not Oklahoma State, Utah, or Arizona.
God, no. Because even Iowa State, I mean, you knew they'd be decent, but obviously they played for the title. So I think they kind of overachieved in a sense last year.
Baylor, Arizona. That's going to be interesting. God.
I don't have any expectations for Arizona this year.
They're going to be mid. They're going to be mid 2025.
Like a bowling team, at least.
It gets smacked down by LSU in the Texas Bowl, and LSU scoot their butts like they won something there.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, because if they don't go bowling this year, do you just pull the plug immediately on Brennan and be like,
nah, it's his second year. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, but like, I guess I've been disconnected from Arizona since we're not in the same conference anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but you just went from an amazing season with Jed Fish to the last year, and then you have another year like that again. How long do you let it go?
I guess all they got to find is like, did he say something bad to a staff member?
It's true.
But
it's the way out now. Way to go, Stanford.
Stanford set the standard. Oh man. Well, any other notes you want to touch upon on Arizona?
I expect nothing from Arizona.
Well, let's see now. Like 6 teams down, 8. Well, let's see, 10 to go. So we haven't covered Baylor, Cincinnati, Houston, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, Central Florida.
Let's
That's 9 teams.
let's touch the promising teams. Let's go with Texas Tech. Let's touch the promising teams. Let's not touch the bottom.
Let's touch West Virginia after Texas Tech.
There you go. Yeah, West Virginia's an interesting one though.
Yeah, Timothy Green's an amazing supporter of the Voice College Football, and least we could do is cover West Virginia for him, man.
Yeah. West Virginia's an interesting one, so I do want to kind of. It's going to be an interesting season for them, but same with Texas Tech here because
they're overhyped. Texas Tech's mid.
Golden Lions.
Mid.
Should I know this team? The Golden Lions.
Arkansas Pine Buff.
Oh, God, I have it sitting right here too, and I just saw Arkansas. Oh no, I saw Arkansas State. Sorry.
And there's Mark Rogers' alma mater. Shout out to the founder and CEO of the Voice College Football, Mark Rogers, with Kent State. And and
then Oregon State too. I mean, yeah,
that's a cream puff non-con schedule. That's so cream puff.
I'm not gonna take anything away from Oregon State, what they could potentially go down and do, because Oregon State to me seems like potentially maybe the little trap game, because then you have to go to Utah.
Yeah, I mean, why do I get the feeling it's gonna be the same thing as last year? Because like Washington State just like embarrasses Texas Tech, and then we see same thing with Oregon State. It's like, yikes.
It's possible. It's possible.
You won in overtime against Abilene Christian. And Washington State just drags you off the floor and beats the crap out of you.
It's a Texas Tech special.
Oh, yeah. They'll be thinking about Utah, and then Oregon State will just get the belt out and spank them.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
I'll be pulling for Oregon State on that one.
They have to go to Arizona State. That one could be like talk about like a prime time in the sense of like ultimate must watch type of game, depending on how the beginning of the season goes for both teams.
It's pitiful. Test it. Like, oh god. You know what's weird though? We don't see Baylor or TCU on that schedule for the matter, because like again, Texas Tech Baylor is not a protected rivalry. What are you doing, Big 12?
Yeah, that's a little weird. Texas Tech and Baylor is not. Yeah, that is a little weird. I would have thought that would have been definitely one that would be like consistent.
Oh man.
They do have to go to K-State though.
What's going on with the schedule makers, though?
I don't know. It's the bigger conference. When everything got bigger, all the conferences, the scheduling got all out of whack.
One little team has a team call Rosh will get a coach booted simple as fits. Team call. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Texas Tech, I mean, I just expect them to do good enough to make a bowl game and then get smacked by LSU.
I mean, the schedule's not terrible, but they do that last bit where they have a 7-game stretch there, having to go to Kansas State, then host BYU. That could be a little bit of a challenge there. Plus, you have Arizona State before Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, not saying Oklahoma State is good, but you get 3 of the best teams in the conference in a 4-week stretch. So, not super easy. It's still like, I don't want to touch the team car wash.
No.
It's like, I don't even want to touch that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
We need car wash.
Thank you. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't want to touch it.
Good Lord.
Clint, I had to go to the Texas Tech game couple years back. I didn't get hit with a tortilla. Sam did though.
Oh, that was for Oregon, Texas Tech, or you
Yeah.
and Sam went there on.
Sam got hit with the
UT.
tortilla.
Yeah, that was on September 9th, 2023. And and we were doing After Dark day later.
Fun times.
Yep. It's been a minute.
Place is crowded and busy though. Good Lord. Takes you like 30 minutes to get a beer. Insanity. It's all right. If we want, let's touch West Virginia if you want to. Go for it and just start it off. I am going to literally have to just walk away for like 30 seconds.
All right.
And then I will be right back. But go for it.
30 seconds. Good luck. Oh man. So West Virginia's schedule in the first year back of the Rich Rod era, it's going to be starting out with Robert Morris. Then you got to go to Ohio. That looks like a trap game. Don't let anybody fool you. Ohio, that's a trap game right then and there. Oh my God. And of course, the backyard brawl. Ain't nothing but a good time in the backyard brawl right there, man. But that's gonna be fun. And that's usually gonna make a difference. And oh man. Rich Rod's sitting there thinking about revenge. Revenge after 07. Gotta go Kansas. Gotta go Kansas. Kansas is gunning for blood on revenge. They are thinking about it right then and there. Week 5, underrated game of the week right there. West Virginia, Utah. That's going to be a good one. Quite the humongous battle. That's going to be a battle. Got a little bye week. You got to go to Central Florida. Got TCU coming to your backyard. Got to go to Houston. All right, Dana Holgerson's not either location anymore. He's just going to be sitting there. Well, he's at Nebraska now having fun. Colorado and West Virginia, the Bob Denver Bowl on November 8th. That'll be quite a great game. West Virginia, Arizona State. That looks fun. And then West Virginia Texas Tech on rivalry week. And chat, give your take on this, see what you think. But where do you think West Virginia is going to go for 2025? I think they could go 7-5, 8-4. I mean, they're going to be a lot better. Like West Virginia fans, you may not like the record, but I got a good feeling you're going to love where West Virginia is heading. You're going to see a big jump. Like 2025, you're going to see progress. More progress than you did with Neil Brown. 2026, 2027, 2028, that's where you're going to see the big guns be brought out for the Mountaineers. And what's up to you, Trojan Fight? Thank you for tuning in to CFB After Dark on the Voice of College Football. But, that's just me. I want to see where West Virginia is going to go. I mean, they're not going to have a losing record. But, like, every game that West Virginia lost last season, like, it felt like it was going to be the last game of the Neil Brown era. But now you're going to have Pat McAfee just throwing money at the NIL situation, especially with his old ball coach, Rich Rod, coming back. And like when he was saying that on the Pat McAfee show where he said, like, I'm making sure you guys are taken care of. Like, he's going to take care of his alma mater. I guarantee you're going to see big things come out in Morgantown. Hey, you're welcome, Timothy Green. Anytime, man. Anytime. And I can tell you this. It's going to be a fantastic future right there. And before I go on more on my take and see what Ben has to say, check out West Virginia at the Voice of College Football, where there's magic every single day on West Virginia takeaways. I can tell you, it's going to be a fun ride. Agreed. Our programs need friends. That I could not agree more. Could not agree more. I was commenting with my buddy Will and D earlier tonight about if Maryland considers hiring Bill Murray's son, who's an assistant coach at UConn, I believe. Bill Murray's going to throw money in the University of Maryland, which can not only make a difference for the basketball program, but then go back to amazingness in basketball as well. And great, in football. Troy V says, going back to an old coach is weird to me. Almost seems like going back to an old girlfriend. That's a funny analogy. That's funny, man. No, I'm talking about their football program, Jace. No. Get your mind on the game, good buddy. We only have 146 days until week 0.
Stop counting. Sorry about that.
Never.
So what are we taking away from West Virginia's schedule here?
Well, we got the Bob Denver Bowl November 8th, the Backyard Brawl.
That's right.
Kansas looking for revenge. Dana Holgerson's not coaching either one of those programs anymore. I'll be honest. I suspect West Virginia can basically show everyone that progress is coming. It's coming in Morgantown.
I think so. I mean, it's not a bad schedule.
Not good, but not bad.
Yeah, it's not like amazing, but it's nothing great these days either. At Kansas, at BYU, fine. At UCF, at Arizona State, but you skip Kansas State. You do, and you avoid Texas Tech. Oh no, you have Texas Tech at home though. Sorry, last week. Yeah, I gotta scroll faster when I'm doing this stuff. It's not the worst schedule in the world. It depends on how fast they can implement the system he wants to run there. I think that's kind of like the big thing for West Virginia fans. But obviously, he's going to have time to correct what Neil Brown left, basically. It's not like Neil Brown left like nothing. Like they had good pieces.
Oh, yeah. But Neil Brown couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah, they were just inconsistent, to say the least. Oh, God. What do we got?
Yeah. So out of the Big 12 teams we got Arizona, Arizona State, BYU, Colorado, Arizona State, BYU, Colorado, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Utah, West Virginia. So that makes it 3, 4, 5, 6.
The math is killing me.
Yeah, I know.
Click one.
I know. I'm getting there. Relax.
Just click one. These conference schedules are getting longer and longer because the conference is getting bigger.
Oh, man. Well, we covered 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means 7 teams left to go. And we got Central Florida.
Which I think one of the big things that we need to maybe we'll focus on, especially with some of the remaining teams where we're not expecting high expectations of the breakup. We'll look at especially their non-con, because I think that's going to tell us a lot about maybe the potential of the team going into the season. Because a lot of this is now going to be like repeats of other schedules that we just looked at for other teams. So this is UCF, right?
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
So we have I mean, you didn't start off nice. You have to take on Jacksonville State.
Oh, yeah, it's on Thursday Night Football, which will be on the same day of the annual 24-hour live show at the Voice of College Football from Mark Rogers himself.
Am I crazy to say that could be a loss?
Yep.
I'm crazy to say that could be a loss for UCF.
No.
Yeah, I was like, no, that one actually could be a loss.
North
I
Carolina beat them.
I wouldn't be surprised though. God, that their bye week, the bye week when it's like week 2 or 3 like that, sucks so much.
So disastrous.
Yeah, the bye weeks for some of these teams it's atrocious.
Terrible.
North Carolina. Oh, can't wait for Bill Belichick to roll into Florida. The Fighting Belichicks. Oh god.
That's gonna be so funny.
Well, we'll get to the ACC stuff. That North Carolina is another one of those just fascinating teams.
ACC. Friday night football, Central Florida, Houston.
Ooh. Oh, damn. I was like, oh, it's in Florida. Damn. I was
like
that's in Houston. I was like, you know what? I might actually try to go to that one if it was in Houston.
Yep.
At Baylor. Then at Texas Tech. And then at BYU. Man, some of the schedules are like backloaded with like 2 or 3 of the best teams in the conference. Or projected best teams in the conference, I guess. Let's put it that way. Projected. After last year's projections, the Big 12 doesn't know how to rank their teams. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
UCF is. I mean, it's year 1 back with Scott Frost. I don't think the expectations are super high. I would say bowl game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, pretty much like at least go 6-6.
Yep. Oh, they had to, North Carolina acted pretty trashy to Matt Brown.
Yeah, that's. I mean, when we get in North Carolina, it'll be weird, different when we're talking ACC. But yeah, it's like Matt Brown. I'm going to come back next year, and they're like, "No, you're not. I'm going to coach the bowl game." No, you're not.
That was so wrong. Can't stand the University of North Carolina, but we do love our new friends at North Carolina at the Voice College Football, which you will see the premiere of North Carolina at the Voice College Football Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. I could tell you, you're going to love these new guys that you see on North Carolina at the Voice College Football. I will put in the link in the chat in just a little bit while Ben and the rest of you guys in the chat decide which team we do next.
Yeah. UCF, minimal expectations year 1. Scott Frost will get it back, maybe, but yeah, it's going to take a while. What do we have, chat? We've got, we haven't looked at, oh God. Who haven't we really looked at now? There's so many damn teams I can't. Iowa State we haven't looked at.
No, we haven't. Let's look at them. Good catch.
I'm kind of skipping Cincinnati.
Well, we'll go over them.
Cincinnati doesn't exist to me.
Well, they exist to me. But they're pretty crappy.
And obviously we have a
tough start to the season. Kansas State in Ireland, Iowa gunning for blood in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, that's going to be such a good one, though. I'm so happy it's someone like Iowa State and Kansas State playing in Ireland this year. That's fun. Of all the teams in the world that you would think, let's go to Ireland, Iowa State and Kansas State are probably the last ones.
Oof.
Literally like the last one you'd ever pick. They're and of course they host this year though, but they have to take on Iowa as always. And that's always a That's always a fun rivalry game.
Oh man. Well, I mean, Gary Danielson's picking a good time to retire. So he don't want to call Iowa State anymore.
That's what it was. It was like, I am so tired of calling this damn game.
It's like, but to be fair, I think Purdue Notre Dame was much worse. I mean, Iowa State was fun. It was so much fun. But
I think so. I mean,
they meant it's Ames, Iowa. Yeah, because like I don't know why Iowa State can't win at home against Iowa. That sucks.
I don't know. It's one of those things in a rivalry game. It's like a curse.
God.
But Iowa State, again, another team in the Big 12 that should have pretty good high expectations. I mean, you've got Beck coming back. You're going to have a solid team again. But was last year one of those years where, Campbell and them just overachieved? Or was it just a result of the Big 12 being just so chaotic?
Wolf.
I mean, because if a couple of the teams like Colorado or BYU hadn't lost the game here or there, Iowa State might not have been in the conversation for the conference title. It was just kind of that chaotic year last year. So maybe this year the Big 12 kind of like, streamlines itself, kind of, so to say, where there is a top contender. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yikes, though. Yeah, BYU.
Wolf.
Arizona State back-to-back. Home games, but back-to-back. That's not fun.
TCU on the road. Wolf.
I just don't know what to expect from some of these teams. That's what makes this preview and looking at these teams and trying to like figure out what they're gonna be makes this so difficult, because a lot of these teams underperformed last year massively.
I know, right?
And so are they gonna be good this year or not? And that's what's making it really hard to figure out if they have an easy schedule or a hard schedule. Because watch Cincinnati this year, like go literally like 10-2 and play for the title or something like that, and it'll be like, well, we didn't see that coming. I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's like,
it's insane.
Iowa State should be a fun team again this year, though. Iowa State will be fun to watch.
I don't want to see them have a down season. Like the last time they were this high was in 2021, and they fell apart.
Yeah, because obviously 2020 was pretty decent, but like with most teams outside the SEC, really, that was a asterisk kind of season because it was shortened.
Yep.
So that was one of those years you're just kind of like, yeah.
There we go. Well, chat, we've picked Arizona State, BYU, Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas, Central Florida, Utah, West Virginia. Teams we have not covered are Baylor, Cincinnati, Houston, Oklahoma State, and TCU. Name which of the 5 teams you'd like to hear us cover.
There's 5 more. God help us, chat. God help us.
Well, we'll get there, Ben. Relax. We're getting there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna cover Oklahoma State.
No, poor. Nope.
Oh,
Troy
by the buzzer.
Troy overruled you.
Let's see what Willie Fritz is bringing to the table in his second year.
Well, if it's Willie Fritz that we know Willie Fritz to be, it will be better than last year.
Oh yeah.
It should be.
Yeah, he's gonna fit Houston. No worries. I mean, Stephen F. Austin, who cares, right?
Yeah, that's Rice. Even Rice.
You'll get used to it, Charger Fight. You'll get used to it. They're in their third year at the Big 12.
I know. I forget Houston's there too. To be honest,
We did them earlier tonight, Timothy Green. We have not done Baylor, which we will get to afterwards.
Yeah. In all fairness, so yeah, I forget Houston's in the Big 12 too. Sometimes it just totally escapes my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, and I live in Houston, so
you shouldn't.
Rice, that should be easy. That should be a win.
Damn. Unless it's on the NFL Network. You know, like how there's teams from the ACC that have bad luck due to being on CW. Well, being on the NFL Network is bad for Houston football.
Yeah. Well, but playing Stephen F. Austin and Rice, that should be 2-0. Colorado, hosting Colorado, that's that's a, I don't know. That's a 50-50 right now.
Friday night's sloppy, which means what thing? Upsets can happen.
I guess it depends on if at that point is it an upset. But then they have to go to Oregon State. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Yeah, they do come off the bye, but that'll be a fun game.
This is so weird. They don't have Baylor. Well, they got Baylor, TCU, but they're not permanent games. That sucks.
Sucks. They have to miss maybe the other freebie of Cincinnati.
That does feel weird. Like it's gotten to a point where it feels weird not seeing Houston, Cincinnati. But Houston, Arizona looks good.
Good or sloppy? Let's put it that way.
Mid.
Mid.
It's mid. That's Jeffrey's word, though.
I'm sure they would rather host Arizona State than have to go to Arizona State. So
oh, yeah.
They probably like to flip-flop that home game.
Hey, maybe Arizona State will be drunk from Friday night to the point where they forget Houston's even there.
Arizona State is a party school.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, Houston could surprise people in 2025. I mean, it could happen.
It could. I mean, again, Willie Fritz is a good coach. You know, he can build a program. It's just going to take him a couple of years, but maybe this is that year where all of a sudden it just breaks out, you know.
And maybe he's at the age where he doesn't really want to go anywhere.
I was surprised he left Tulane, to be honest. I was actually kind of surprised, but
I was surprised he left Tulane for Houston.
Yeah, that was why I was really surprised. I thought this guy built Tulane into a monster.
Oh yeah.
So to go to Houston was kind of like, is that really an upgrade? Seemed more like just a lateral.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to get it out of Louisiana and go about 5 hours. Yeah. 5 hours west.
True.
I
mean, the way to go. I mean, they're down, which the other way to go is up. And let's see. I mean, they're kind of similar to Arizona State in a way, because it's like Arizona State down in 2023, disastrous, disgraceful. Nobody expects anything out of them in 2024. Everybody's laughing at. Everybody's like talking smack about beating Mississippi State. It's like you're supposed to. Texas State, sloppy win. Oh, you look sloppy against Texas Tech. Win against Kansas, yeah, you're supposed to. But the win against Utah woke everybody up. And the way they just like went through everyone November, impressive.
Yeah.
And where was Arizona State 2023? 3-9. What else happened? Like double-digit loss. 3. 6 out of the 9 losses were double-digit losses for 2023 for Arizona. Now let's look at Houston, shall we? They got shut out twice. Shut out twice. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the 8 losses were double-digit losses in 2024.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Houston can win the Big 12. Not saying they will, but I'm saying they do look like a sneaky surprise team for 2025.
They should be better. At least, let's put it this way, more competitive.
Oof. And shout out to friend of the voice of college football, Steve Helwick, the Group of 5 connoisseur, who is a top-notch Houston SMU man. But I think Houston should make a bowl game. What do you think, Benny?
I think that they have the potential by the schedule. I guess as long as just everything doesn't just fall apart or injuries or something like that. Something that really derails the team, like loss of your quarterback, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Type of thing. Yeah, as long as something like that doesn't happen, they should be much better. Like I said, at least a lot more competitive. So I think that they could at least get to a bowl game, which would still be progression. I don't think you're not going to see a Tulane style year where they went like 2-10 to winning the Cotton Bowl. You're not going to see like that type of year.
Agreed. Agreed. Alrighty, the teams we've already covered: Arizona State, BYU, Colorado, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, UCF, Utah, and West Virginia. The teams we have not covered yet are Baylor, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, and TCU. Which of the teams next would you like to hear us talk about next, chat?
Yeah, it's and these are the teams. These are the teams that need to show themselves. Prove themselves. Oh, yep. I think we got it. Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State. It is. Let's hear it. Let's talk about them, shall we?
Brutal week 2 for Oklahoma State.
God.
Brutal week 2 for them.
Woof. Well, I mean, at least they get the rest on the weekend. So maybe there's that.
That is true.
And they get a bye week afterwards. I mean, like Oklahoma State, they restructured Mike Gundy's contract. So maybe they could have like what Michigan had. Oh, no. We're not talking about Merrimack tonight. But thank you, though. Oh, God. Well, they haven't won a national title since 1945 when the U.S. got out when World War II ended.
But yeah, Mike Gundy, with him restructuring his contract and his buyout, he got rid of the entire staff. I have no idea what to expect from Oklahoma State at all. When you clean house like that, I mean,
if they go 9-3, he's safe. 8-4, he gets a vote of confidence for 2026. 7-5 sits and sits, he's fired. 5-7, he's definitely gone.
So if he goes 7-5, but 8-5 with a bowl win, I think he'll be okay.
Oh, great.
I think he'd be okay with the restructure. Now, if he doesn't go to a bowl game, yeah, I think it'll be done. If he doesn't make a bowl game, it'll be done. Or if he's getting like blown out in some bad games, yeah, it'll be. I think it'll be like, it's been great, Gundy. We love you. We appreciate you. It's time to move along, sir. Maybe it'll finally be the end of the era.
Well, friend of the voice of college football, Locked On Oklahoma State, Cody Stovall, has warned about the Mike Gundy era, where it's like, it's not as glamorous as you think, folks.
I mean, because Mike Gundy is a legend at Oklahoma State, and obviously he's been there for, God, 2 decades. Basically like 20 years. I mean, it's tough, but at some point, a program's got to like kind of give you the nudge out the door when things are just going downhill. They gave him the opportunity. He got a new staff. If it doesn't work again, at some point, kind of got to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's a proud program. They're a proud program. They're supposed to be one of the better in the Big 12. And right now, they're absolute trash.
Oh, yeah. And the fact of the matter is, Texas, Oklahoma leaving, you can't blame anything on Texas, Oklahoma now. You can't blame anything on Nebraska, Colorado, or Texas A&M or Missouri.
Colorado, technically you can. But.
Well, I mean, like Colorado was a trash heap like before they left the Big 12. You know, the last few years they were there in their first stint, right?
But yeah, you're not living under the shadows of Oklahoma or Texas anymore.
Or Texas A&M or Missouri.
Yeah, so you're supposed to be one of the top tier eminent programs in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And to literally go winless in the Big 12 last year. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable by any standard for any fan base.
Yeah. Chiefs analyst. That's funny. That's funny. I mean, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, that's going to get ugly.
Yikes. I just don't expect a whole lot. I mean, did they play Arizona last year? I don't think so.
No, but we could double check. Yeah, they did play Utah week 4.
I was going to say, let me pull up their schedule here for 2020.
Utah played Arizona in week 5. I believe that's what you're thinking of.
Okay, maybe that's.
They got smacked by Kansas City. They did play Arizona State. They didn't play Arizona.
Okay. I was going to say, I was like, that might have been a win for them last year. I think that might have been a win for them last year, but.
There we go. All righty. Out of the teams we haven't covered yet, we have not covered Baylor, Cincinnati, and TCU. Which of the 3 teams would you like to hear us cover, chat?
Earlier, Jason did say Natty. I assume that would be, like what Troy's saying.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati it is. And then you can pick between Baylor and TCU.
Oh, boy.
I mean, the Satterfield era is in its 3rd year. How are they feeling about stealing away Scott Satterfield from Louisville? Not very good. I mean, they're not going to have – it's like Louisville's just like laughing their butts off. They're laughing them out of the room. They don't know why, but since he goes, it's terrible in 2023. 2024, they come short of a ball game.
What will 2025 bring? Because Louisville got the better end of that stick, so to say.
Oh yeah, they blew it against Pitt. They lost a tight one to Cincy. Colorado just smoked you like a chimney. West Virginia is just beating you. Iowa State, Kansas State, they beat you like a drum. TCU they don't even show this to a live audience. They just like, you know what? We're putting you on ESPN Plus. We're putting you on ESPN Plus. And it's funny that like 2023 second game. Oh, we beat Pitt on the CW. You don't do anything except beat Houston. You go 3-9, 5-7. Now it's. Are you gonna go 7-5? Really? Oh well. Uh-oh.
But no, don't worry about it.
But Cincinnati, Thursday Night Football against Nebraska, week 1, 151 days till then.
That's not a good way to start your season.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that sets the tone for 2 teams, Nebraska and Cincinnati. If Cincinnati can win that game, That sets a good tone for them. But
Dylan Raiola is going to beat him like a drum.
it should, but I'm saying that sets a tone.
Well, here's the difference, though. This is the Matt Rule era for Nebraska. So it's not like the Scott Frost era where it looks like Nebraska's going to win. They piss it all away. It's not like the Bo Pelini era where they do just enough, do 9 games. And the Mike Riley era, Mike Riley's trying to be nice. No.
Mike Riley was just there.
Yeah.
He was just kind of there. He was kind of, he was just little CEO. He was like, this is cool. I love Mike Riley, but yeah, he was not like, I don't think he was super invested.
Well, Oregon State came up short twice of a Rose Bowl in 08 and 09 under Mike Riley.
Why are you talking shit to Clint in the chat? Why would you do that?
Well, I'm not talking to Clint Moses. I'm talking to Mike Riley.
Like, why would you do that to Clint?
Sorry, Clint. Sorry, buddy.
Now, if Cincinnati loses to Bowling Green, we have some problems. Or Northwestern State Demons. Northwestern State, is that
that's a crap hole.
Is that are they out of Louisiana? Northwestern State?
Yeah.
Demons?
Yep.
I think so.
Woof. You gotta go to Kansas. Gotta go to Kansas.
I don't think Satterfield is gonna make it past next year. He just is not he was not a good choice for Cincinnati.
Get out, Satterfield.
I mean, that was a huge downgrade. When you lose someone like Pickle, who took your program to where they were, why would you not shoot higher?
I know, right?
I just don't. I don't understand. Then again, we have some stuff to talk about with Fickle when we get to the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Things are not going well for him either.
There we go.
Sometimes moving on from a program where you're having success is not always a good thing.
Cincinnati TCU rivalry week, that looks pretty obscure.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a very must-see TV type of game.
I'm not. Well, I mean, you can watch it on Disney Plus. So I mean, so it'll be like, oh well, we're gonna put it on Disney Channel after the new Phineas and Ferb episode.
Who's an alum?
Satterfield.
Okay. Well,
who are we talking?
Is it Satterfield of Cincy or?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
Cincinnati's trash.
It just Satterfield. Okay, it's Satterfield. Okay.
Well,
I mean, still, it was very underwhelming hire. Let's put it that way.
Out, Satterfield, out. Moses says Riley was a hip hip hooray kind of guy, offensive mind, fan base has Mitts feels.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, I have respect for Mike Riley. I have huge respect for Mike Riley. He was,
of course, you do.
No, he was there for a long time. He was a good coach. He took the Beavers to heights they hadn't been in a while, and
yeah,
it just kind of waned towards the end. And that's kind of what happens with some coaches. I mean, it just kind of that's how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't mean he lost his edge or anything like that. Just maybe it got stale. So to say, it happens.
Well, chat, which team would you like to see us cover next, Baylor or TCU? Give us your thoughts. I'm wondering about Baylor, to be honest, because I mean it's like Dave Aranda and Baylor. I mean, he looked like he was going to get fired, but then Baylor beat Texas Tech last season. Then they go on that humongous winning streak. I mean, LSU beats them. Here we go. We got our next team. We're going to go with the Baylor Bears.
Yeah,
and they're going to be. They got a wolf type schedule. You got Auburn coming to your backyard to start off week 1.
And then,
Yikes, that's right. 152 days until Baylor, Auburn, and Georgia Tech, Colorado.
that, and then at SMU.
Are they
Yikes.
going to put that game on Fox or keep it on ESPN? That's what I'm curious about.
I don't know, but I mean, it depends on what Auburn is going to be like this year too. With Hugh Freeze, what is he going to do? But have to do Auburn at SMU, then you get Stanford, fine, but then you have Arizona State. That I mean, you could be 1-3 4 weeks into the season.
Yikes!
Yeah, yikes indeed. Oh,
that is just so terrible. But hey, I mean, Auburn's a top basketball program now. They're in the Final Four, so they can flex that.
There's something. Yeah, there's something. At least they have that.
True.
But yeah, I mean, legitimately, their first 6 games, they could legitimately be 2-4.
Yikes!
2-4 after 6 weeks.
And maybe it's just me, but I'm beginning to wonder if Dave Aranda's in that similar position that Neil Brown was in. Like it feels pretty scarily similar.
I think it is, but I think there's I think Dave Aranda has a lot more general support than Neil Brown did.
Yeah.
Like Neil Brown had kind of worn out his
welcome.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we've given you leeway and you kind of get our hopes up and then you torch it. Dave Aranda is kind of like, at least I think he has a little more support.
Well, I hope so for his sake.
Yeah. Oh man, the first half of their schedule is brutal. The second half, much nicer.
Yeah.
Much nicer.
I mean, TCU, we don't really know what version we're getting out of them. I mean, yeah, you beat Louisiana. You beat a pitiful Louisiana Lafayette team. Smacked them like you're supposed to. I mean, what do you want us to do? Give her your cookie?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, hey, you get TCU, Cincy, UCF, okay, Utah, Arizona, and Houston.
The revivalry.
That's a pretty nice second half of the schedule, and it's only 3 games with bye weeks. But that first 6 games. Oh man, again.
Oh, God.
They literally could be 2-4 6 weeks into the season. Or 3-3, or even like 3-3. That's rough.
Woof. Good grief.
Dave Aranda will still be okay though. I think he'll still be fine.
If they go 8-4, they're fine. They're sits and sits. It's vote of confidence discussion time.
Yeah, he's fine. Baylor should be pretty solid again this year. Big 12 championship material. Yeah, I think it depends on the other teams. If the other teams don't live up to expectation, they could be.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think they'll be kind of middle of the road, Big 12.
Oh, yeah.
You say 7-8 wins again in that range.
True.
We've got Mike Riley jet sweep talk.
But there's one last team we have to talk about, but not certainly least.
The Fighting Sunnies?
No, we already talked about Arizona State.
No, Sonny Dykes.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah, the Fighting Sunnies.
Oh yeah, my bad. It's like, oh man.
I was like, wait, am I confused?
Yeah, you're right.
I thought I lost my mind for a second there.
Yeah. I think I lost my mind for a bit. Staying up till midnight will do that to you. But yeah, the Labor Day game, we're 155 155 days away. But really, it's 154 days if you're in Eastern time until Labor Day for TCU North Carolina. Looks like a sloppy game, right? Well, Florida State, Boston College, sloppy game, right? But, there's some moron Florida State fan. Like, not Florida State. Relax. Just some moron fan.
Danny Cannell?
No.
Oh.
So the guy that said he was going to eat dog poop off a red Solo cup if Florida State lost to Boston College. Legend has it as he still hasn't eaten the dog poop off the Solo
it's never happened. There's no evidence that it ever happened.
Yep. That is scary though, Jason. Like they gotta go to North Carolina for the debut of the Bill Belichick era. And you got the last edition for right now, the last edition of the TCU SMU rivalry. That makes me pretty.
The crosstown rivalry.
Oh man, I'll be sobbing like a baby that weekend. But that's a tough non-con schedule. That's pretty woof. They got, which I love tough non-con schedules, which I like that. I mean, I give my respect TCU. And they got Arizona State. They got to go there Friday night. That's rough.
Colorado, Kansas State, all 3 weeks in a row.
The rivalry on October 18th. They got to go to West Virginia. Iowa State's coming to their backyard. They got to go to BYU. They got to go to Houston. And last but not least, they got Cincinnati coming to their backyard.
That is a little rough. BYU and then Houston. Houston's obviously not that far to travel for them, so that's not too bad. But the West Virginia, Iowa, at least they have a bye week in between.
Yeah.
Because traveling to West Virginia, obviously that's the ways. West Virginia's the furthest school.
Yeah.
Now I know everyone makes a big deal about travel, but travel doesn't affect some teams if they plan for it. As long as they're not in like a 7th or 8th game stretch. Then I think it starts to, add up on you.
Well, Alabama is playing Florida State on week 1, so it's gonna be tough not to in the preseason. But I should make sure to do that tomorrow.
I mean, in all fairness, too, until FSU actually wants to win a game or two, they are the running joke of the offseason still. Yeah. I think that's fair. Fair.
I just wish we'd stop hearing about realignment. Like that's just irritating as hell to me.
Oh, please. Yeah, stop. I don't want to hear any more about realignment.
Right.
The ACC settled their thing, so hopefully with that whole thing, we won't have to hear about it for
God.
At least 5 more. Like people have said 5 more years. They basically said that's the death clock for the ACC now. They basically gave the timeline for the end of the ACC.
Yeah,
but we'll see how that works. But at least 5. Give me 4 or 5 years. Damn it. Please.
Yeah. But there's something I think you do want to hear though.
Are we talking business?
Yes.
I like business.
Who doesn't like business? I love business. Like the Voice of College Football @Twitter account. The magic that you will be seeing from Ben and Friends on Oregon at the Voice College Football and on After Dark. For example, you got Ben and Friends on After Dark Sunday nights on the Voice College Football. And, we were asked, somebody was asking, College Football Report was asking, we're about to hit that point in the offseason where we don't have anything to watch, man. And I say, well, there's always the Voice College Football. You know what else there's always of? Sunday nights, Florida Gators Live from Tyler Natuno, the writer of College Wire and co-host of Florida Gators Live with Tyler Whitfield. Let me tell you something. Those two bring some magic. Oh, we don't want copyright. And we got a top-notch question. Alabama's got its quarterback for 2025. How will Ty Simpson do? Playoff run, BC tier quarterback, benched, won't win starting job. You decide, and we'll talk more on that on Crimson Tide Live tomorrow night. And there's our new guys. Mr. McRae and Mr. Botts, becoming the new host for North Carolina at the Voice College Football starting Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on North Carolina at the Voice College Football for Tar Heels Live, the very first edition. And the recruiting insider for the Voice College Football, who Mark Rogers himself called on February 24th, 2025, the Patrick Mahomes of recruiting insiders. That is what Leanne Herring is. She is, like, I gotta tell you, she is the hardest working woman we've ever seen. She is doing articles on Kentucky Wildcats Wire. She is the Ole Miss Live co-host. She is the host of On the Move with Mark Rogers Tuesday afternoons, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Central Time on recruiting at the Voice College Football. And she does amazing work on the Rebel Walk. And did I forget to mention LSU Live? Yeah, we got LSU Live at the Voice College Football premiering tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Grant Shashir and Zachary Jundy as they bring you their takes on LSU football every Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you know what else you're going to see? You really want to know what else you're going to see? The Voice of College Football Instagram account, where you can get top-notch discussion, debate, analysis. And, of course, you can get a rewind to the Fiesta Siesta Bowl between Boise State and Oklahoma. And let me tell you, you got top-notch stuff coming up. Got top articles like the top 5 quarterbacks of the 2000s. Joe Burrow, Tim Tebow, Vince Young, Cam Newton, Baker Mayfield. But that's only according to ESPN. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks of the 2000s? Comment down below on the Voice College Football Instagram account. Let's get it to 5,000, 10,000 followers on Instagram. Let's get the X account to 10,000 followers. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to get a wild ride. And remember, you can come on in on CFB After Dark Sunday nights, where you can become a Heisman member. And you want to be a part of panel? Join the Patreon description section or become a YouTube member by becoming a Heisman member for the Voice of College Football. All right here. Oh, and of course, there's the Voice College Football Bets, where you can get top-notch picks from Mark Rogers, Steve Merrill, Steve Dace, and Matt Zimick, where they will give you their top picks of the season. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a wild ride waiting it out for college football season start, but you're going to get more of their preseason picks, I'm sure. I don't know, but you'll get it. That I can guarantee. For $19.99 a month, you can become a Hall of Fame member where you can get discounted merch. And I can tell you, it's going to be fun. For $4.99 a month, you can become an All-American member. You can get a VIP hangout session with Mark Rogers himself and priority replies to comments. You can get priority replies. And for $2.99 a month, you can become an all-conference member, where you'll get loyalty badges next to your name, custom emojis to use in the comment section and in the live chat. And you get member shout-outs for every time you comment on the live shows for the Voice College Football. And I forgot to mention, for $9.99 a month, when you become a Heisman member, you not only get to be on After Dark with Ben himself, and you can be that Nets host for your favorite team that doesn't have a Voice College Football show yet. Like myself, like Ben, like Jordan Bowman, like John D'Animo, like Tim Prangley, and a few others right here on the Voice College Football. And you can give out content requests of any kind. And neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow, nor any type of bad weather, nor pollen will put a stop to those content requests being fulfilled for you right here at the Voice College Football.
That's why I can't do the business talk, because I'm like, I would never get through that. I would be like stuttering all over myself. And it would be a sloppy mess.
Oh, man.
That's why you had to take a breath there for a second. You're like, okay, now this part. I'm like, yeah.
Yep. Note to self, I got to get myself a script. So it's like,
yeah, we got to trim that down a little bit somehow.
I know, right? It's like that'll help. But before we get to me, Ben, what's going on in your side of the world on Exploring with Ben and Sam? And is the bad dog doing stuff he shouldn't be doing still on Exploring with Ben and Sam? Those who watch Exploring with Ben and Sam know the reference I'm talking about.
No, Bad Dog is behaving right now. He's in timeout for a while. Nothing much, like I told you before that. Next week is good. We're off because we're moving and have some other things come up this weekend. So that'll be cool. But Spaz and I will be live this Wednesday to talk some spring ball and some updates and maybe hopefully have a guest. Trying to do it for the Oregon channel. So that'll be Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Central, the usual time, right here on the Voice of College Football. What about you, Jackson? Do you have anything going on?
Well, let's see. Let's get your Oregon channel link down in the chat. Here we go. And did I forget to put in the LSU channel link? I'm so ashamed of myself. Don't let me forget these sort of things. Chat, remind me if I forget something. Let me know.
You're the master of the copy paste of all the links.
I do my
There
best.
it is. There he's got it. There we go.
Yep, and there's the North, and you can tune in for Tar Heels Live Tuesday night. I mean, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Oh man, there it is. But of course, we got some Elite Eight heartbreak tomorrow night. Coach Birch, Jeffrey, and Owen Taught Sports, myself are going to be discussing our heartbreak. But you know what's going to make us feel better? Talking about how god-awful Tennessee is every time they have a chance at a Final Four. How Jeremy Pruitt is a complete total moron. We're going to be talking a lot about that tomorrow. Like, what a dumb. I mean, he's thinking he's going to get $100 million. Are you kidding me? What an idiot. But of course, you can check me out on Alabama with the Voice College Football Monday nights and Thursday nights, where we go over our takes on Alabama with the Voice College Football. And of course, you can check out my latest episode of the Jacksonia, where I had on Ruby Dreyer Finley, the co-host of Ole Miss Live, and the production coordinator of College Game Day herself, where she creates magic behind the scenes. I can tell you right now, anybody that's at College Game, I can tell you right now, there's magic behind the scenes there. I can tell you. And it's something you want to tell your friends, family, and the cashiers at Publix about. I can tell you, it's a great episode. It's a humongously great episode. We talked a lot about Ole Miss. We talked a little bit about Vegas. We talked about Troy Taylor being a total moron. A lot about that. Believe me. It was so fun. Yeah, and I can tell you right now, it's only 35 episodes away from the magic number 100. It's a magnificent episode. Magnificent episode. 35 more episodes away. You tell me who you want on Jackson. Matter of fact, you also tell me who you want on Crimson Tide Live. And for more updates on what's going on in Alabama with the Voice College Football and on the Jackson, check me out on Jackson VOCFB on /Twitter and on Jackson Johnson 543908 on Instagram and Threads. And if you don't like /Twitter or Instagram for some reason, check me out on Blue Sky Jackson Johnson 9797, where I not only post updates of who's on Jacksonian and on Alabama Voice College Football, but my weekly calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
God, I am so happy I've been trying to stay offline for the last 4 weeks. Outside of the football stuff, I've been trying to take a breather.
Well, you might not want to, because an Oregon guy I know might get a shout out on the Feinbaum Show.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So
I'm just saying, I'm trying not to host too many shows. Put it that way. I'm trying to stay away from hosting a lot of shows and stuff like that. So outside of when we have to, because obviously if news comes up, like the Troy Taylor news, yeah, that was just kind of out of the blue.
I know, right? But it's I was filming with Ruby at that last part of the episode, and it was just I find this news on my phone. It's okay, I got a notification. It's now it's not time to be texting me. I'm filming an episode here. It's what do we have here? Oh, Troy Taylor got fired. And I mentioned on the show where it's because this is pre-record, the news is likely going to be a day late.
Yeah, I mean, it was when you hear the details again, it's like, okay, yeah, it's not surprising. Maybe how it went down a little bit, but the fact it was a second investigation, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm not surprised, but it was just out of the blue, kind of like, oh, okay, very late in the, right before Stanford, I think is on spring break right now.
Yeah,
I think, or just coming back tomorrow, I think, and no head coach. So
yeah.
it's like very, very late in the process before spring practice. So, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But that's what happens.
All right, man.
Well, then, I think as usual, we are on, especially because I'll be out of town next week and then moving. So, we'll be on hiatus next weekend. So the next weekend, so 2 weeks from now, that would be April. Let me double check her. That would be April 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have the chat decide. Chat, April 13th, Sunday night, for the next After Dark. Would you prefer the ACC conference schedule for 2025 or the Big Ten conference schedule for 2025? We'll let the chat decide. How about that?
There you go.
Then I'm not to blame.
There you go. Chat, what do you think?
ACC or Big Ten?
Your call.
I'm good with either one. Doesn't matter to me.
Agree. Pitt, we got our first one from Husker. What else?
I see it. I got big.
Do we have big or AC? AC says Troy V.
ACC, get up. Sunbelt. No, outright. Sunbelt. Yes. Eventually, we'll get to
FAFO Buck says big. Austin says AC. Frank Paco says ACC. Clint Moses says ACC.
Franklin, you picked the ACC, Franklin? What the hell? I'm highlighting her ass. What the hell, Franklin? You picked the ACC? All right. Well, let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 for the ACC. Austin only gets one. All right, ACC it is.
Yep. And then the Big Ten for last.
No,
out of the power conferences.
His choice says get it out of the way. Independence. Damn it, Jason. It's like, damn it, Jason.
All right, man.
Yeah, I figured anyone's like, who cares? Yeah, he's like, I ain't picky. It's like, yeah, I figured everyone's like, who cares? Just pick something. Oh.
Yes.
Thank
you, Neil Campbell.
Hold on. Give me 20 seconds. I gotta go find something. Neil, hold on. Give me 20 seconds. I gotta go find.
He's finding that Nevada, like there's a Nevada flag somewhere. There we go. Timothy Johnson says cover every conference. We'll listen. Here we go. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. What's the floating helmet? Well, that's my Jets helmet. My parents got me that for Christmas of 2020, I believe. So they felt like I need a little something for like my office stuff like that, my little office, and they figured that would help. And I pulled for the Jets a little bit when I was a little boy. I did pull for the Jets on account of the fact that Joe Namath played there. So it's like I pulled for them because former Bama man was there, like way before my time. But I'm actually a Titans fan. That's right. Roll Tide, Clint Moses. There we go. We got magic coming your way from Alabama with the Voice of College Football. We got some magic over there. No worries. We're not gonna let anybody be forgotten about over there. Okay, Jets. It needs the light. That stands to reason. That's fair. That y'all. That's funny, man. That's funny. That's so funny. Oh man. Should have Raiders for Keeney the Snake Stick. Yeah, I mean, it's like I like that. Nobody has not picked up Aaron Rodgers yet. Like the Steelers, they let not one but two of their guys go. They let Justin Fields go to the Jets, which it's over for Justin Fields' career. He's never going to have anything nice. Russell Wilson is a G-man. So Giants think they're in 2013. Not. Jay Snow says, being a Jets fan has guaranteed my entry into heaven. I've gone through hell my whole life with Woody Johnson. Well, Woody Johnson will do that to you. He will definitely do that to you. I could always paint it, put a big A on the side of it. Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Jets and all them. You want? Huh. Nah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Jameis hanging in. I think that's gonna happen, Pitt Snipe Husker. I think that's gonna happen. I think like the Jets kind of made it clear they were sick and tired of the weekly Aaron Rodgers appearances on the Pat McAfee show. Although the weekly appearances are on during the regular season. And you know, some of you might have felt sympathy for him in 2021, some of you didn't. But I think like any sympathy that was gotten for Andrew Luck, that seems to be all lost, really. That does not seem to be lost. If the Steelers have a losing record this year, I feel like that's the end of the Tomlin era. Like, I'll be honest, I feel like that's the end of the time. We're able to find anything for Nevada. Oh, there it is. You had your Nevada. You got your Nevada shirt on. We got it for this is for you, Neil Campbell. That they were talking a little bit about some NFL football, so I decided to.
That's fine. That's fine. It took me a second. I had to dig it out for Neil. If he's still here, I did get this just for Neil when I was in Nevada. So
there you go.
Yeah, Neil, good to see you. Hopefully you're still
long
there.
time no see. Goodbye. Yeah, we're glad to see you.
He's busy. He's a busy guy. Busy guy. So I like to pull it out when I get the opportunity for Neil. So Neil, we appreciate you. You've been here a long time. Always appreciate you dropping through and always being very generous to the voice of college football.
Your voice of college football legend, Neil. Voice of college football legend, man.
Yeah. Always extremely generous. It helps the network out a lot. Helps Mark out a lot. And we always appreciate it.
Exactly.
So is there anything else that we want to cover tonight? I think we've covered the whole Big 12.
If you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers being a douchebag, I mean, other than that, that's it.
Just retire. just retire. I'm at some point people got to just go, okay, I left a great situation where I was good. I got injured. I suck. Now I'm going to jump somewhere. Just stop. just stop. You know, like stop.
That's right. He did Penn State Husker. That is right. I'm gonna go ahead and put that episode in the chat where Mark went on Monday Night Therapy for a fun edition of a live stream on Corn Nation from SB Nation. Forgive me if I'm not overly familiar, but I've watched a little bit of Corn Nation here and there, but I haven't watched every bit of it. But That was the episode I watched. But I can tell you right now, when Mark Rogers is a guest on a show, it's like seeing, your favorite teacher at the grocery store. You don't expect it, but you have a great experience all the same.
I guess the only other thing that we didn't talk about directly because it didn't come up was because I was thinking with Nebraska with the whole spring game stuff.
Yeah.
Colorado and Syracuse's request for a spring game against each other was denied. I mean, shocking. Shocking.
If I'm Colorado, Syracuse, I just do it anyway.
That's what people said. Like, what are they going to do to you if you just go and do it? But I
wag their finger and give you a lecture about how their daddy would tan your hide. Come on.
It wasn't going to happen this year, anyways. Even from my perspective, when they said they filed paperwork to get approval, it would have probably been for like next year. There was no way you were going to be able to logistically set this up. I don't think within like 2 to 3 weeks. It was going to be rough. Let's put it that way. Could it be done? Sure, but I don't. Colorado, Syracuse. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't quite make any sense to me.
I think the only thing Syracuse will have to worry about, like when they keep having good seasons like they did last season with Frey and Brown, is they're gonna have to worry about whether they can keep Frey and Brown or not. But other than that, they're good to go.
Yeah, or they're like their assistant coaches.
Oh yeah.
Like we took their receiver coach, Douglas.
Oh yeah, John Johnson. He's the big dog over at Corn Nation. That's right.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Jackson? Because the SEC is going to go to 9 games eventually.
Oh God,
they are going to go to 9 games. What do you think about instead of having that November cupcake, make that your spring game? Give the little school, the FCS school, whatever, give them a check. That's your spring game. But get rid of it in November. Likewise with other people, instead of having that like week 1 FCS team, do that in the spring. Again, you give them the check, they get their athletic money.
Oh yeah,
and that's more. I can see that being sustainable if it's regional, where it's easy, in state kind of thing.
That would be cool. Like I'm sick of the Austin Pay game and the Mercer game. I want that to be the spring game instead.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like for Oregon, it'd be Oregon versus Portland State.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's like I do like where we got like 2 tough Power 4 opponents. Like, I keep saying Power 5, but Power 4.
I say that all the time, and I'm like, I still have to catch myself. I'm like, 4.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. Like that's saying there. It's like I like seeing but I'm hoping that like some really old rivalries can come back, but like with the SEC likely going to 9 conference games, it makes me feel like some of those really old rivalry games that were there before our time are not coming back at all, or unless there's realignment.
That's why I don't want to think about realignment again, though, because it's just going to continue to like just destroy things, and I'm like, I don't want to think about it.
I know, right? So, I know.
Well, then
that's the part where you throw your famous catchphrase, man.
How dare you?
There you go.
Well, then on that note, once again, thank you, Neil Campbell, as always, and thank you, Matt Ritson, for all your super chats earlier with your questions and comments. Yeah, it's always appreciated. It helps the network a lot. Helps just everything around the channel. So we always appreciate it. But not just that, we just appreciate you guys being here in the chat. So if you haven't, please do just hit that like button really quickly. Hit that like button. It helps spread the video out. And if you're not subscribed, I'm sure most of the people here are, because these are literally the football junkies who are watching this on March 31st at 12 a.m. Central Time.
1 a.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, like these are literally football junkies. So this is what we're here for. So we will then be back here in a couple weeks on, as I recall, it was April the 13th. And we will, by the chat's request, talk the ACC 2025 conference schedule.
ACC.
They say it means more. I don't know if that's true or not. All right. Well, then, everyone, once again, appreciate you guys being here. And we will get the hell out of here. So, everyone, you have a great rest of your night.
He has to get up at 5 a.m.
Damn right. You have I already had Sam come in and look at me like, I thought you were going to sleep already. I'm like, yeah, I'm working on it. All right. Everyone, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. We will see you guys on our following shows, the Alabama on the Voice of College Football or Oregon on the Voice of College Football channels this week. And we will see you here on the After Dark Show in a couple weeks. Talk all things ACC. Other than that, Jackson, I don't want to forget tonight.
Pop-Tart. Play us out.
Oh, God, I can't wait to get the new one of this. Oh. Yes.
Bad ref.
He likes it.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't punt, and that's why he doesn't hit him.
He didn't throw a flag.
No. Get him with that flag.